friends, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel. Today, as you read from the title, we are doing a 24-hour readathon. Is there any reason to be doing a readathon? No. Is anyone hosting a readathon? No. Am I just gonna call this a readathon because I'm doing it? Yes. I was doing some YouTube planning recently and I'm like, what books have I read that I can talk about? And then I realized, well, I've been realizing actually, that I've had like the worst reading year of my life so far. University stressful, everything's stressful. So up until this point when I'm filming this, which is like the beginning-ish of May, I have only read 6 books. So that is not very great for someone who considers their biggest hobby to be reading. So I'm like, let me have a quick, impulsive, impromptu readathon where I'm gonna try to read 2 books. I feel like that's pretty like okay, you know? I feel like that's not too crazy because I have been sucking on the reading recently and the only way to get myself to read honestly right now is if I just drop everything and read. And so I'm very, very excited to share my day with all of you and read some exciting books. Now, I have decided for once not to read some kind of fantasy book because I find those often take me a little bit longer to get into and to read sometimes. So I'm actually going to be reading some contemporary little rom-com books we got going on, both of which are going to be rereads. So these here are the books that I'm planning on reading. I was thinking of giving myself a third option, but I'm like, we're not even gonna try to read 3 books. I think that's a little too much, but I'm gonna be reading these 2 books. First, we have The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, and this is actually one of the only contemporary books that I actually remember really, really liking. I also really thought the movie was cute. My friend and I saw it together back when the movie theaters were open, and I loved it. I also loved Everything Everything by her, and I've also pre-ordered Instructions for Dancing, which is her new book that comes out at the beginning of June, which I'm so excited about. So I thought, you know what, while we're waiting for the hype of the new book, let's read The Sun is Also a Star, because I think I liked this one more than Everything Everything, but honestly I can't really remember. And my second book option is Again But Better by Christine Riccio. In case you don't know who Christine Riccio is, I think she's like the most subscribed to booktuber on like in the community. Her next book comes out also next month, so I'm like, you know what, let me reread this book because I actually read this book twice within like the span of 3 weeks. The first time I read it, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and then the second time I think I gave it like 2 or a 2.5. Now that I've stepped back from the book, let me try to read this in like an unbiased point of view and see if I actually like it and enjoy it. Typically, I'm not a fan of contemporary rom-com-ish books, but I did like The Sun is Also a Star, so there is some books out there for me. Anyways, enough chatting about these books, and let's actually get into reading, sharing my day. I hope you all are having a lovely day, so grab a snack, grab a drink, relax, and let's get started, shall we? Okay. I'm only 50 pages through this book so far, and I honestly just wanted to hop on and say something quickly. 1, I've decided to tab 2 parts of this book. 1, any kind of favorite part that I like or any kind of good writing, or 2, the romance parts. Romance hasn't really started yet, so I just have a couple of tabs for the writing, but there's just some really great passages in this book that I really, really like, and I am falling back in love with this book all over again, and I'm remembering why I loved it so much in the first place. Oh my god, I'm so excited to talk more about this once we see more and more of this thing I like throughout the book, so I'll save that thought towards sometime later in the video. But I'm loving this book so much, and one of the concepts that this book kind of deals with is something I've been thinking a lot about, but it's about like time and life and how certain things connect and how some people believe things happen for a reason, other people don't. There's just a whole lot of like thinking about things in this book that I really, really like, and I'm only 50 pages in, and I think this book's like 350 pages, so we still have a little bit of a ways to go. I have to jump on a meeting, but I just want to say I'm loving this book already. I think it's so good so far, and the main plot thing hasn't even happened yet, which I think is saying something to show that the book leading up to that point is still amazing, and so I'm so excited. I just wanted to share that because I'm excited. Also, my bookmark matches the cover. How cute is that? Hello everyone, it is now the next day and let me just recap a little bit of yesterday. I ended up finishing The Sun Is Also a Star and I ended up like tabbing the book for every moment that I like enjoyed the writing of or just liked in general, and then cute like romancy parts. So I love how the tabs match the cover. Anyways, I loved this book. When I read this book last time, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars back in 2019, and now I'm happy to say that this is now going to be a 5 out of 5 stars, and I'm so happy because I'm definitely not one who like always loves contemporary romance. I always think they're like just okay, but this one, so freaking good. I'm not sure if I actually ended up talking about what the 2 books I chose for this little video are. Basically, I'll recap The Sun Is Also a Star now that I also know what the book is about. But basically, we follow a boy named Daniel and a girl named Natasha who meet together on the streets of New York, and for whatever reason, they only have the rest of that day to be together and to get to know each other. And Daniel is a poet, a dreamer, a believer in fate, and Natasha is a firm believer in science and facts and how things like love just can't be real because you can't measure them, you can't see them, etc, etc. So Daniel tells her, what if I can make you fall in love with me in just a day? And she then decides you get 1 hour. And that's the book we follow, and it's absolutely wonderful. Honestly, my favorite part about this book, well, maybe not my favorite, but like it was astounding, was the writing. I complained about Divergent in my last video about the lack of great writing, and this book is full of it. The way she structured it is just so perfect with the story, because one key message in this book is that how one choice can change not only your life but other people's life, and it also deals with the idea of fate, and if 2 people are meant to meet each other or if they're meant to be together, what does that mean, or how certain events from other people's life connect to others. It was amazing. It made you think so much. I loved it, and just 5 out of 5 stars. I'm so happy I like read this all in one day. It was a great time. I like finished this book at like 3:30 a.m. yesterday, bawling my eyes out with the epilogue. It was so good. It was so good. Definitely highly would recommend. So it is currently 1:15 on the next day, so I've decided that I think I'm gonna make this like a 48-hour readathon rather than 24 hours because my 24 hours is almost up. But I will be beginning Again But Better by Christine Riccio today, and hopefully I will finish that by tomorrow afternoon, or like hopefully by tonight. I'm honestly really hoping that I like this book because I kind of liked it the first time I read it, and then I didn't like it so much the next time I read it, but I have high hopes even though I've already read this book twice, you know? I'm also very interested to read this book as someone in university now, because I think Shane in this book is 21, I believe, so it's not like I'm 21 quite yet, but I think my experience in high school versus university will be very different and how I relate to this book. So I think I'm very excited to read this book. But in case you don't know what Again But Better is about, honestly I do kind of forget it a little bit, but basically we follow Shane, and she is on her path to become a doctor, I believe, but she really does not want to become a doctor. I think she wants to be a writer and do something creative in that regard, but her parents are big on her completing her doctor certificate stuff. I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called. And she gets a opportunity to travel abroad for a semester. While her parents are thinking she's doing some kind of medical thing, she's actually doing like some writing exchange thing at a publishing firm, I believe. Anyways, it's super cool, and she basically gets this last chance to, you know, get her first relationship, her first kiss, have this amazing experience. Easier said than done. She is soon faced with the complicated realities of living outside her bubble, and when self-doubt sneaks in, her new life starts to fall apart. Shane comes to find that with the right amount of courage and determination, one can conquer anything. Throw in some fate and a touch of magic, the possibilities are endless. Now there's definitely a theme between these 2 books, just based on the synopsis there. Maybe I have a type, I don't know. But I'm very excited for this book, and I'm really excited for her next book coming out next month. And I hope this book is as great as I want it to be. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't wanna have too high hopes, even though my hopes are already way too high, but like, I'm excited. Anyways, everyone, let's continue reading. I'll share my thoughts with you as I read more, and I will talk to you guys a little later. Hello everyone, so I am currently on page 137 of this book, and I just came inside to come make some lunch, and I'm going to continue reading this book some more, and I'm hoping to get to at least page 200 before I take a break. Honestly, I have like some interesting thoughts on this book. Like, I definitely wanted to DNF it when I got to page, I think it was like 67. I was honestly debating just putting it down and being like, it's not for me. But the more I read, the more I can kind of find the good things and not so great things about it. So honestly, I think it's on its way to like a solid 3-star rating, but I'm not 100% sure quite yet. But I will update you guys soon, and I am going to eat my lunch now. Hello everyone, I have officially wrapped on my 24-hour readathon, and I want to give you my final thoughts. Starting with Again But Better, since I just finished it like 15 minutes ago. This book, I can solidly say, is a 3 out of 5 stars, and I don't really think I would go out of my way to recommend it to anyone. I honestly, like I said earlier, really wanted to DNF this book when I was like 60-70 pages in. I think, you know, by the time you get to the end, you can see the journey, and honestly, there are some cute moments and things like that. I will give it credit, and I gave it a 3 stars, so you know, it was enjoyable, but it's definitely not anything groundbreaking. And this book kind of just reminds me why I don't really like contemporary romances that much, but for what it was, I think it was pretty good, especially for a debut novel. That being said though, I am totally buying her next book when it comes out next month because I love her videos, and I'm hoping that, you know, maybe the next story will be a bit better. I ended up tagging just some moments that I enjoyed throughout the story, and there are, you know, some good times, but overall, not the best book ever. Enjoyable for the most part, but just nothing I would go on and on to rave about. But a solid 3 out of 5 stars. If for whatever reason you do want to read this book, it's okay. It's just nothing fabulous, at least in my opinion. I hope you love it if you do read it, but unfortunately, I think this is going to be my last reread of this book. The last 2 times I read it, I gave it a 4 stars, then a 2 stars, and now we're settling right in the middle with 3 stars, and I think this is the last time I'm gonna read this book. Comparing it now to The Sun Is Also a Star, honestly, I should have read this one first because The Sun Is Also a Star is just worlds better than Again But Better. I'm sorry, but like, it's just so good. The writing was so beautiful. As you can tell, I tagged a whole bunch of different things, and a lot more things than I did tag in Again But Better. But if you had to choose between these two, not that they're comparable really in any way, I would choose this one 100%. I think it's just so much more fun. The writing's a lot better, super cute, and I literally was crying at the end of the book. So I was very invested in the characters in the story, whereas in Again But Better, I honestly don't even have a favorite character, nor do I really care about any of the characters that much. I think it was just a sweet, fun ride sometimes, but this, you were just invested every single chapter. Anyways, I'm not sure how long this video is, but I'm guessing it's going to be on the shorter side. But I hope you did enjoy this little 48-hour readathon where I put to the test 2 books that I have wanted to reread for a while, and honestly, I'm really glad that I reread them. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you've read any of the books, your thoughts on them. Let's discuss, because I mean, you've already heard all of my thoughts on the books, but I would love to hear your opinions and if you agree with me or not. That being said, I will see you all very, very soon in the next video. So until then, bye.